Extreme E. Extreme in the unforgiving terrain of its race sites and its otherworldly race locations. Extreme in its pushing boundaries of tech innovation and exploring the possibilities of electrification. Extreme in its dedication to combating some of the world's biggest climate challenges. And extreme in the psychological battle these drivers face as they head into the fourth grueling day of racing in Sardinia. Cutthroat pressure weighs on every turn of the wheel. One wrong move and it's all over. Thoughts of what has gone before risks clouding their judgment. Can the drivers hold their nerve? With the end of the first doubleheader in Extreme E's history in sight, it's still all to race for. Who will be the champion of Part 2 of the Island X Prix 2022?
Hyperdrive now.
Sardinia is the location for Race 3 of the 2022 Extreme E Championship. 4 teams had already stamped their tickets for the final. However, with one place left for the winner of the crazy race, Genesis Andretti United, JBXC, Veloce Racing and Excite Energy Racing lined up for their last shot at glory.
Lance Woolridge for Veloce wants to get a great start down the outside lane if he can, but watch for Munnings on the inside with Header Hodas as well. So Munnings has got a great start for Genesis Andretti United. Molinaro moves across, but that's like the P3. Hodas holds P2. Now what's absolutely key is Woolridge, left-hand side of your screen. He's going to push so hard in that Veloce. Katie Munnings has got to beat him there. Hodas goes off the track to the right-hand side. Behind her, still looking at Woolridge, though, coming in, going to get there just alongside. Contact. Woolridge over the inside line, takes that camera out again, but somehow holds on to P2, so contact avoided. Munnings leads for Andretti United, and in P2 it's Woolridge for Veloce.
Knowing there was just a single place available for the final showpiece, Lance Woolridge kept his foot down in pursuit of Katie Munnings in the lead.
Great commitment from Katie Munnings to carry the speed through there, knowing the car was inside her.
Take the trips.
Woolridge hits on the inside. Contact, he spins and takes out a flag. Header Hodas coming through. Woolridge spinning the Veloce round. Can he get back in P2 or not?
There is the Veloce car. He managed to get it going. He'll get penalised for it. But look at Hodas just closing up that gap. That is fabulous driving from Hodas. She's really closed the gap down, but Woolridge managed to get back on.
Going into the switch zone, the race was still on a knife edge.
10 seconds!
Kevin Hansen in particular was pushing to move up the field.
Racing gets back underway. GZ versus Hansen. He knows that this is an opportunity for him to get past pretty quickly. I think that Veloce car, unfortunately, under the hands of GZ at the moment, lacking in confidence, she said, but she's giving it a go. She's on the inside now. She's trying to hold line. Hansen on the outside. 2 into 1. Oh my word, what is going to happen here? Look at them going side by side. Hansen uses that Inoa hyperdrive just to get an advantage. Pulls away from GZ. Well done to GZ for holding that for so long. Brilliant job from her.
Having moved up into second place early in the lap, there was a familiar driver just up the road for Kevin to chase.
Okay, Kevin, about 5 seconds, he's past Veloce.
This is brother versus brother. Kevin chasing down Timmy in that JBXC versus the Genesis Andretti United. They have to win this or they are out of the weekend's running.
Gap 6.3, gap 5.8, attack the water.
If Kevin can get there, he will have a go.
Carry your speed on the exit, 5.0, come on, you're catching him, let's go.
Oh no, he's out of shape and he's managed to hit into the waypoint. He's got loose there. He's turning the car around. He hit the waypoint, unfortunately for him, and I think that's left the way for Timmy to go and win this and get through to the final.
Look at Katie, look how nervous she is in the command centre. And yeah, brilliant job by them. Not far to go now, and they're into the final. They've got a shot at the big trophy.
It's Genesis Andretti United, Timmy Hansen at the wheel, Katie Munnings in the command centre, and they are through to the final. It was a great battle between the brothers. Wasn't to be, unfortunately, for Kevin, but they have done it. They have won their place in the final.
Brilliant job to Katie. Fantastic. Very, very well done.
Back in the pit lane, Timmy rushed over to commiserate his younger brother after their tight battle out on the course.
Oh, Kevin, I can see how disappointed you are. And we've got your brother Timmy just alongside you as well. You were pushing very hard to get to him, perhaps a bit too hard?
Well, yeah, I had a really good opening. I had to pass Christine in the beginning, and I think that move was pretty nice. I mean, after that, I was pushing crazy hard because I could hear I was catching Timmy in the front, so I tried my best, and in the end, I just got caught out. It's a shame, but I mean, if someone should go through, it should be Timmy and Katie. So, I mean, I'm very disappointed, but I will be cheering on for these guys in the final.
I know how it feels because it sucks to miss the final. And I feel for my brother here and the team, but now we've got to pick the damage from the crazy race and prepare for the final.
Oh God, to win the crazy race is like the best feeling of the weekend so far. In the command centre, I can't watch Timmy drive. I just can't do it, especially when the gap's closing. I actually turned around and I was facing the other direction. But of course, I have all my faith in Timmy. He's an amazing driver. He always delivers, and he brought it home in P1 for us.
One place that will no doubt have stuck in Genesis Andretti United's mind is Greenland, the site of last year's Arctic X-Prix, which saw the duo take top step. The race was the first international sport to take place in the Arctic Circle and saw competitors race at the base of the world's second largest ice sheet, covering 80% of Greenland. Extreme E drivers Kevin Hansen and new addition to the championship Hedda Hossas travelled to the world's largest island to pay a visit to the race site.
I think this was one of the most fun tracks we had last year because it was so challenging with references and just so open. We had 3-4 different terrains. We have sand, we have this muddy gravel type. Then you went out on the flat part with a lot of heavy gravel and stones, and obviously this rock garden in the end. So I think everybody was surprised how different types of nature it was around the track, and also that it's changing so much now with the climate change.
Yeah, I thought it would be more ice actually.
Yeah,
but
it's only back there,
yeah.
And it's slowly disappearing. I remember from last year, it was, you know, you could see it much more strongly, and now it's less and less. I remember the first time I came here and I was really shocked and really affected, so I can just imagine how it is for Hedda to come here for the first time. I think it's really fun that she's here, and going to the glacier as well is something that, you know, brings back a lot of emotions, I think, because it really affected me last time I was here. It's very similar to like I remember it, the water unfortunately melting still here on the side, the rock garden next to us, and it brings back good memories, I must say. Anyway, you know, big battles. We had a big drive up in the crazy race and got a podium in the end. It's an absolutely beautiful location, and then to, you know, do a race here, raise awareness for the climate change and the melting ice sheet, and then, you know, come back and see that it's like we never were there. And I think that's hugely important to remember, that we don't come here to make a mess and, you know, just do it for good action. We come here to actually make a difference, and that is, I think, one of the astonishing things about the championship, to see that you come back to Greenland and it's untouched.
The great thing about our racing series is it's race without trace. So when we go to locations, we try to race and not have a negative impact on the environment. This is all part of it. It's coming back and ensuring that the environment's been put back in the way that it was when we found it.
The race site from last year, the sand has been blowing over the area, so you cannot see that there has been a race taking place there last year. There are flowers where the camp was situated. This is certainly a race without a trace.
At the centre of the Extreme E Championship are its legacy projects. Set up in each race location, these aim to provide positive support relating to specific local needs. Last year, Extreme E set up a series of legacy projects at the local school in the small town of Kangerlussuaq. The projects included the installation of solar panels outside of the school gates, as well as helping implement climate into the curriculum in Greenlandic so it was accessible to all.
Hello kids, it's nice to see you. And we've been looking forward to this day, haven't we?
This year, the drivers, alongside Professor Richard Washington, who is part of Extreme E's scientific committee, returned to the school to join in with the activities and help find creative ways to bring climate education to life.
The big task today is to drive the electric go-kart out on the track, but firstly we wanted them to interact with sustainability and teamwork. So today we are going around in groups at different stations to see the kids, the next generation, working on these topics and really putting a lot of school time to that with the teachers. I think that's a great thing.
Good job.
One other aspect of the Legacy project last year saw the presenting of electric go-karts to the school in collaboration with the Danish Automobile Sports Federation. The drivers spent the rest of the day giving the students pointers as they made their way around the track.
Ja, det gas, og det brems. Så da bremser du.
The reason that we come to places like Greenland is all about legacy. So we're using sport for good, and it's the catalyst of change. And so each of the locations has a legacy project which actually works with the local community. Here we are in the middle of Greenland, and it's about e-mobility and it's about renewable energy. And the power of having a female driver. Young girls are looking up to Hedda and actually understanding that they too could be a driver in the future. And we're in the middle of nowhere here in the Arctic Circle, and we've got kids that have an aspiration to be sports stars, and why shouldn't they? It's one of the parts of the job that makes me and our team feel very, very good about being here.
One final surprise came from student Magnus Asmussen, who off the back of the race last year had built his very own Extreme E car.
And you need to explain how I drive. Okay, second gear.
It's so amazing. We kind of dreamed about it since last year. We saw the big race and we just was amazed, so we tried building a car to race it. And we put X44 in the car because we loved how Seb was driving, and he was just aggressive. It was exciting and cool.
Really good job, it looks amazing. Good job, guys. I'm really grateful to be here in Greenland, and this is an amazing championship that is not only focusing on sports, it's focusing on the bigger picture and what is actually important in the world. The trip itself was something I will bring with me for the rest of my life.
It's great to be a part of this championship, that you got this opportunity to travel to these places, like this one in Greenland. It's an incredible experience. The school visit was really fun, and we met all these kids. Got to meet some girls as well that could really feel that I was like their role model. I could really feel it was good. At the same time, sad when Kevin told me about and showed me some pictures as well from last year. See the difference with some, it melts so fast, and yeah, it's sad to see, but also, yeah, a great experience and a memory for life.
After 2 rounds of the 2022 Extreme E Championship, RXR topped the standings, just as they did in 2021. Johan Kristoffersson has been driving for the team from the very start. He is one of the fastest drivers on the grid, and his passion for racing runs in the family.
First time I was in a race car, I don't remember, because probably I was just about born, because my father has raced since I was born, really. So more or less growing up in the service park, traveled around Europe in our family bus when my father was doing rallycross. So I was probably in the race car long before I even remember. And yeah, it's cool to have a dad to share that experience with when I finally started to drive myself. So he knows how it is to be a racing car driver. And the beginning of my career, of course, I got a lot of tips, and also running around in the service park, being a mechanic for him. Obviously I picked up a lot of tips and tricks from other drivers that was in his team and also from him long before I was even start driving myself. The very first time I did a shakedown on the car that I was supposed to drive that weekend was actually on a track that I've been many times with my father before. So finally I got the opportunity to get out and drive myself for a couple of laps. And we actually didn't even have the time to put a seatbelt in. That made it even extra nervous for the first time I went around the lap. But the first time I went on track competitively, actually I was the fastest on track the first free practice we had. So that's kind of a great memory in a 20-car field championship. I started with rallycross back in 2014. I did full season, so I did full world championship in rallycross. 15 with the third place, 16 with P2 in the championship. Then starting off 17, 18, winning the world championship in rallycross. Tried out some touring car racing internationally 2019 with WTCR, and then back to rallycross for 2021 and won back-to-back titles again. For last season, I think we came very well prepared, and I think me and Molly worked very well together from the start of the season, and in the end being able to win the first event and also to win the championship the first year as a team with so many new people that you meet, and in the end of the season you actually get like a family, so that was very, very cool. For season 2 to have a new teammate with Michaela, which I've known for a long time. As a defending champion you always have a little bit of a target of your back. It's going to be tough, and there's many more teams out there which is very, very fast, so we need to focus on ourselves, and definitely our target is to fight to defend our championship from season 1. Together as a team I think we are working well, so that will be our target, and let's see how it goes.
On the final day of racing, some famous faces gathered in the paddock, including DJ Carl Cox, who was meeting the drivers, some of whom were big fans.
Hey, what's going on? How are you? Excellent. Very well, mate. Look at I'm twice the size of you. Really?
The British legend couldn't turn down the opportunity to get out in one of the newest Hummer EVs. Dave Birkenfield, the team manager, showed him around the course.
What's up? How are you? How are you?
This is amazing. Fully electric.
Full 100% electric.
I was hoping to see the car today. I wasn't expecting to be driven in the car by you also. And be in the car today, to actually see it for what it is. It's just amazing. This is a race course?
This is a race course. You're on the race course right now.
Oh my word. I didn't realise it was so gnarly. No one ever crashes. Because obviously they're going hard.
Despite having some motorsport racing experience himself, he was impressed with the terrain conditions the drivers face.
All I can say is that's the bumpiest racetrack I've ever been on.
In the Hummer EV just floated.
At least I've got a bit of the flavour of the track. Now I'm understanding why they're all like, why they're doing this, because it's incredible. And they just fly over them, right?
Oh boy, yeah. So this is Sarah. She's one of our drivers right here. Sarah and Kyle.
Oh, right. Thanks much again. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, hi Sarah. How you doing? Very well, thank you.
Sarah, nice to meet you.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is our Hummer EV. So you just rode in the actual Hummer. So yeah, our mechanics hard at work getting ready for the next round.
They get pretty beaten up, don't they? Eh?
Yeah, it's hard on them.
And for asking the suspension and everything to do what it normally does, it's incredible to see how these things actually do work on such terrain.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. Whose idea was this? Your idea.
It's crazy.
After his visit to the pit lane, Carl took his seat next to Extreme E CEO and founder Alejandro Agag ahead of the final in Sardinia.
Just look at this vast expanse of space. The dust, the heat, the wind, the noise. But it all comes down to one final race here at the Neom Island X Prix in Sardinia. It's been a long week, hasn't it? There's been plenty of controversy, a fair bit of drama. But it's time for our drivers to do their talking out on the track.
So this is the final of the second part of the Neom Island X Prix. Who is going to take the win? Keep your eyes on this one. Out And we are go in Sardinia. You can see 3 into 1 already. RXR taking a squeezy line. Everybody using their hyperdrive. 2 different lines on the left-hand side. That's really interesting. On the right-hand side is the App Cooper team that seem to have been able to take the lead. Ahead of X44, behind them Andretti United. But let's keep our eyes open for this merge point. This has been feisty. RXR sliding in nicely into second place. That was beautifully done. Acciona Science taking no risks in 5th place. So at the moment, App Cooper lead, followed by RXR. X44 going wide round the outside. Can they slingshot through turn 3? I think they've just lost a little bit of ground there. They'll try and come through on the inside. It's gone wide, a little bit wide. No, recovered nicely. So your top 4 in place.
As the first lap progressed, Acciona Science fell away from the rest of the field after a mechanical issue on their car.
Oh, there we go. Problem there for the Acciona Science. Carlos Sainz will get out the car. Disappointingly for him, his final is over.
The other 4 teams remained tightly bunched going into the switch zone before an issue for the leaders, Abt Cupra.
No, it's still not in. Her belt's still not in. They're going to lose touch. She can't go without the belt clipped in.
She is going to get a big penalty for that. This leaves the door
agree.
wide open, and this is disaster for Abt Cooper. They use their hyperdrive, the Anoa hyperdrive, off that line to try and get some purchase away.
So Arlen Kotlinski's got a couple of choices here. She needs to be thinking ahead now. Where do I want to try and make the pass? We know she's fast. She's been the quickest driver out there on the female side of the grid, and in fact, faster than Sebastian Loeb and several other male drivers. She's been brilliant. Yeah, up the inside into the Continental Traction Challenge. Woo! Runs her a little bit wide. It's a great pass. It's physical, but it's perfectly okay. Now she uses the hyperdrive. Boom. Thank you very much. You know what hyperdrive gives her 1.2, 1.3 seconds immediately. Michaela Arlen Kotlinski at the wheel, did a brilliant job, past Jutta Klein-Schmidt, just into the water splash, and RXR, who took the win in round 2 and had it taken away with a penalty, take the win in round 3. Behind them, though, it's an all-action fight. Can Gutierrez find a way past Klein-Schmidt? Not sure she can on the run to the finish, so Klein-Schmidt takes P2 for Abt Cooper, but with 1 belt off, will that stand? Gutierrez gets 3rd, and Munnings across the line for 4th.
And we think that we might have a disqualification for the Abt Cooper team. I think that's the news that's dropped in.
She knows.
Wasn't to be, unfortunately.
That penalty lifted Genesis Andretti United onto the final step of the podium, although Timmy Hansen was still left with some regrets about how the race panned out.
I did actually think at the start of the race that I had the very lead, because I was dead equal with Nasser going into that when it all narrows. And he gave me quite a push. I ended up in the bush and lost the 2 positions. So I was quite bummed because I had it. I had the inside up there, but all right, we were 4th, and then unfortunate penalty for Abt. But we can be happy with this podium. I think we've done well this weekend.
Although we're ultra competitive and wish this was a P1, I think we're both very happy and we're ready to go up a couple of steps on the podium next time.
Carl Cox was present at the podium ceremony to present X44 with their 2nd place.
We finished 2nd. It's not too bad. For sure, we prefer the victory. We need to win in the next time, but it's like this.
However, none of the drama behind could dampen the celebrations for RXR, who took the win in round 3 to extend their championship lead.
It just feels amazing to get a 2nd win for the team, because we've done everything that we can. We prepared as well as we could, checked over the car. We've been working so hard to be as quick as possible. So it feels great to give that back to the team.
It was a fantastic weekend for us. I mean, Michaela has been on fire all weekend, so big hands up for her, and then of course to the team as well. They prepared the car very well. I mean, we crossed the finish line first 3 times out of 3, so yeah, just amazing for the team.
After a thrilling final, Zenith ambassador Carl Cox gave his verdict on his Extreme E experience.
Fantastic. I've been watching it online, as you can imagine, and the only way I was able to understand was to have a little bit of knowledge of what's going on, but to actually be here is a completely different story, and people don't understand how gnarly it really is, and what driver input and what demands that's taken on the car to get round at that pace is incredible. As soon as you go out, it's on, and you can see the commitment from the drivers, especially into racing, is phenomenal. To see that live is fantastic.
For a show-stopping after-party, Cox got up on the decks of the St. Helena.
How you doing? You okay? Very happy to be here.
The Atacama Desert, the driest place on planet Earth, and the location for round 4 of the Extreme E Championship. For the first time in the series' history, the drivers will venture to South America.
The race in Chile is going to be spectacular. The race in Chile is going to be in an open pit copper mine, and we're going to call it the Copper X-Prix. And this is to highlight the necessity of raw materials to be able to do this transition to a zero emissions mobility.
Chile is going to be amazing. I've never been to South America before, so for me that's going to be like just an absolute goal of mine to be able to get over there and experience the culture as well as the racing. I've seen a few photos of the area that we're racing and that's going to be different, and hopefully we'll have some really close racing over there.
The problem for everybody will be altitude, because I think we are close to the 3,000 meter altitude and it will be not easy for everybody, but we try to prepare physically.
So what I hear is going to have really cool track layout. Chile, the Copper X-Prix could really be our weekend.
I always feel motivated when I go in a new race, so I feel motivated for Chile again. I raced there in the past for the Dakar. I have a good memory from it. Hopefully we can fight for a victory this time. We have to do it this time.